Good morning, my friends, and welcome to the 10-Minute Book Talk, where three best-selling authors talk all things bookish with you for 10 short and sweet minutes. I'm your host, Rachel Linden, and I'm joined by Marie Bostwick and Katherine Reay, my delightful co-hostesses. And today we have one of our friends and authors that are like auto-buy. We love all of her books, Annabel Monaghan. She is here to talk to us about her new story, which I'm really excited about. It's a love story. So Annabel, welcome. We're so glad to have you back. Can you tell us a little bit about your delightful new book?
Well, thank you for having me. This is the happiest 10 minutes of my year. So I hope we make this a thing forever.
That makes me feel sad though. Like you need to have more fun in life, but we're also
No, my life is very sad. Very sad. So sad. This is why I write love stories. I'm just trying to mine a little joy when it's on these 10 minutes. Anyway, sorry. So this comes out May 27th. It is the story of Janie Jakes, and she is a former teen star who was sort of like the butt of all the jokes on the sitcom she was on. You know, the show would always end with her sitting on a plate of nachos, and everyone would say, "Poor Janie," and it was funny. So now she's all grown up, and she's looking for a little affirmation from Hollywood. She's trying to make it as a producer. And her first film is about to get greenlit and runs into a snag, and she tells a huge lie to just buy herself a little bit of time. And so now, for the rest of the book, she has to figure out a way to make this lie true so that she can get her movie made. And she has to rely on the one guy that she really can't stand, Dan Finnegan, to help her make it happen. And he's the worst.
And hijinks ensue.
Maybe he's not the worst. Maybe he's my favorite book boyfriend ever. I love him.
Really?
Yes, more than the others.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Love this.
Yes.
Okay, sign me up.
Okay.
Not that I wasn't signed up before, but
I wanted to ask what inspired this story, but now I want to ask what inspired the book Boyfriend. So you can answer either one of them.
Yeah. The thing about the book Boyfriend, I'm married to a quiet man, and I like a quiet man. Dan's an introvert, and I've never written an introvert before. And I just really fell for him. I can actually feel it when I'm talking about him. I love Dan. It's a little bit like my husband. So this book, I had finished Summer Romance. I didn't know what I was going to write next. I was down at the bookshelf in Thomasville, Georgia for a writing retreat. And I picked up I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy. And I read it from start to finish. And then as soon as I finished, I went to page 1 and I read it again. I almost missed my event that night. I loved that book. I was like, it spoke to me in such a weird way. I have no connection to child stars. I had no childhood like that, but I loved the writing, and it just really stayed with me. So for the next couple of weeks, I was dwelling on child stars and just what is it? What's it like did you guys ever see this show, Victorious? My kids used to watch it. Victoria Justice was like the hot mainliner. Like no one has ever been that hot on TV since her. And then there's this kind of weird kid in the background who's always like messing everything up. And that weird kid is Ariana Grande. Yes. And she's a billionaire. And I started thinking, what is it with all these kids started together? And now Ariana Grande is a billionaire. I don't know where the rest of them are. How do you reconcile that? So I wanted to write a story about a former child star who was trying to keep up. That's where this started.
Okay.
So interesting.
Yeah.
I love this. I'm excited to read this because I really like failure. I like somebody who's failed. I think people who have not failed are not anyone I ever want to be friends with because I just
they're also liars.
Because that's
true.
But I think
at least we're interesting. We're honest. We're interesting.
Failure is good for the soul. So I love that. But beyond that, you've written so many books that are just really resonating with people. And I love the title, right? It's a love story. So I want to know, well, like in your mind, what are the essential elements of a truly great love story?
Love that
Well,
question.
it has to have all the basic things, right? You have two people, they're going to fall in love. And essential to me is there has to be a reason they fall in love. We can't just put two attractive people together and they're like, it would be nice to kiss. There has to be something that we can feel that's drawing them together. And then there has to be some kind of growth, preferably with both characters, where they are somehow changed and brought back to their essential selves as a result of this relationship. That's key for me. Extra credit, the thing I really love, and it's really hard to pull off, but I like to leave thinking she would have been okay without him. Like she doesn't need him. She wants him, but she doesn't need him.
It's higher level there, honestly.
Yeah.
She wants him. I love
Yeah,
that.
yes, because that's a nice way to live, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And none of us are going to get rescued by a man. That's
No.
not happening.
I'm actually taking notes while you're talking because I'm writing more and more romance because I love it so much. I'm like, yes, tell me more. So I was the one that wrote that question and I totally did it selfishly because I was like, I want to know, Annabelle, to give me your wisdom because you write such compelling love stories. So I'm writing notes right now. I'm just gonna own it.
All right.
Okay, so you are known, I have read all of your books up to this one, and I'm going to read this one, but you're known for, like, you just write these yummy, delicious love stories that also are really emotionally resonant. And I am curious with this one, what are the deeper themes that this sort of light, delicious book is exploring?
Well, I wrote a lot of drafts of this book, like more than I would care to admit. My poor editor was like, what are we doing? It took me a long time to really figure out what the deal was in this book, or what the deal was with her. What I ended up sort of learning is that when we're growing up and like being people in the world, we hear a lot of stories about ourselves, and we grow up telling ourselves stories about how valuable we are, or how valuable we're not, or what we're good at, or where we fit. And I think it's really important to examine some of these stories. Like, are they even true? Like this thing that you've been carrying around forever about your unlovability, that's for Jane, or your incompetence. Like, where did you get that message, and why are you giving it so much power? So that was like very late to the game in this story, but I was like, yes, that is essentially her problem. And just the idea of like getting our sense of self-worth externally versus internally, waiting for the world to validate us, like, yes, you're successful. Yay. That's it's not where it should come from.
And if you don't have it internally, no matter how much success you have, it's never going to feel, there's never that sense of feeling filled up by that. I think it really has to be an internal sense of worth. So I love that. Oh, I'm so excited about this. I think that'll resonate with a lot of us and a lot of others. Okay.
I'm just happy that you look like that made sense.
Oh yeah,
like,
totally
okay,
made sense.
That was a lot of words.
We all nodded away.
Rachel understood.
And it is.
I was right there with
you. That's an amazing takeaway, right? Because you pick up a book and you're like, oh, it's a love story, and this will be, light, and then you find something really that's for you in that. I love that. So. And I think that is something that is, in fact, for absolutely everybody. So I love that.
Yeah. Oh, wonderful. Okay, I'm going to ask you the last question, and you know what it is because we ask every author here on the 10-Minute Book Talk. Annabel Monaghan, what is bringing you joy today?
So many things. I took my dog on a walk and I let him off leash, and he chased all these birds, and the birds didn't seem to mind it. And it was like everybody was so free. Like he was so free and the birds were so free. It makes me sound like a lunatic, but that is like, it was so joyful. I couldn't believe it.
I love that. Also, you're taking your dog for a walk somewhere warm and lovely. So that's nice too.
Yeah. One thing I didn't know about Florida is like the bird life here is really intense. Like
I love that.
it's been a really pleasant surprise. And I'm, not to be old, but I may be becoming a birder.
Oh, no,
So
it happens.
I've become a
I'm
birder
right there
out.
with you. The birds
you
are now
start-
waking up here in Montana, and
Oh,
I'm like
gosh.
joyful every single morning. I'm like, the birds are back, the birds are back. It's
We're all
awesome.
hitting the age. We're all becoming birders.
And if
Okay.
you start growing heirloom tomatoes, you're doomed. That's it.
I
You're
do that too.
I do that too.
Well, your guys are also, Catherine's dogs scarpered yesterday. So Catherine, let's reframe it. It wasn't that your dogs were Dumbos and disappeared and worried everyone. They were very free.
They were very free
So I
for
hit
2
the
hours.
So I love
Oh,
In
it.
Montana with grizzlies.
That's terrifying.
It
All
was
right.
terrifying. It was actually.
Annabelle, it has been a joy to have you with us. Will you hold up your beautiful book again? Everyone
Thank you
run
for having
out.
me.
This is going to be such a fun start to your summer. Such a good spring read for spring break. It's a love story. I guess a little late for spring break. Summer, let's say summer. Put it in your beach bag for summer. Get a copy for a friend. Everybody, you're going to enjoy. It's a love story. Wonderful story. Great love story. And then these deeper themes that are going to resonate with everybody. So Annabelle, thank you for being with us.
Thank
And
you.
everyone who has tuned in, thank you so much for watching. And we invite you to come back next week for more 10-minute book talk fun. We'll see you next week.
And then
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.